Hey everybody, how's it going? Barry here, and today we're going to be talking about Leo. Leo is currently in the Super Evolution Festival thingo going on right now. I am a bit late to the party to record this video, but better late than never, as I've said in many videos in the past, because I'm always behind. But anyway, let's just go right into it, and we'll start off with fire, as we always do. So, yeah, here we are, Evo 1. Very cute. Evo 2, pretty cool, and Evo 3, very cool, very cool. Looking at the variant, there we are. I don't know which one I like more. I like them both a lot, but I think I'm gonna go with the variant just because I kind of like the darker color scheme a little bit more. But both of them are very good. We're going to look at the stats here, but keep in mind, Leo does have Super Evolution, so we will be looking at the stats for the Super Evolutions after we've gone through all 5 of them, just to see how much the stats increase and whatnot. But looking at the base Evo 3 Leo, without Super Evolution, stats are pretty good. So he's an attacker, and he has actually a really good attack stat for an F4 attacker. His HP is pretty good as well, and his defense is middle of the road, nothing special, but it is a little bit higher, I believe, than the average Nat 4 attacker, but nothing crazy. Overall, very good stats, and of course with Super Evolution, they only get better. Looking at the skills, first off, we have the leader skill, Grace of Life, HP up 30 to 35%. It is general content, no elemental specific shit going on, so very good leader skill there, and it's very good for all the Leos. So just there's no reason to not have your Leo variant if you have variant Leos to spare, and of course you like the variant design. Looking at the 3-star for Fire Leo, we have Hunter, 50%, and it is the same on his 5-star, and he gets a 20% damage boost for both with skill books. Where you want to use him? Plenty of places. Fire Leo is actually pretty versatile. So first off, PvP offense. He does very well there just as a fire attacker, though keep in mind the meta right now is still heavy water defense teams, so just be cautious with who you're attacking him with. And also crit res is a thing as well, so that's another thing to keep in mind. He does really well, but there are things that are holding him back from being like top tier PvP mon, you know? He is also very good at farming. Any content that has wood mons, as he'll just wreck them. He'll do a lot of damage. GB9 as well, and DB8 are 2 specific dungeons where you'd want to use him there. Keep in mind, at Evo 3, his animation is very slow for both 3-star and 5-star. I believe 3 stars. I haven't seen the 3-star animation for regular Leo in a while, but I remember it being pretty slow. Super Evolution does speed it up a little bit, I believe, but still his animation speed is pretty slow overall, so he won't really speed up your runs for farming anywhere, but he'll probably make them more consistent just because his overall stats are great, and he does a lot of damage. You can also use him for Titans, against the Wood Titan, for just as a fire attacker, but of course he will fall off as you get more Courageous Strike and Unflinching Strike mons. And then in Wood Colossus, you can use him there as well, again, just as a wood attacker. Though I don't think he'd fall off in that. I think he'd do pretty well. There isn't really much better fire offensive mons for that. I'm not sure if Courageous Strike gives enough of a multiplier against the Wood Colossus, so don't take my word on that, but I don't know which would be better between Wood Leo and something with Fire Leo and something with Courageous Strike against the Wood Colossus, just because I don't know about the multiplier there. But anyway, that's it for where you want to use it, and then how you want to build it offensively. Fire Leo is an amazing attacker. He's an amazing offensive mon, so you want to build him in the way that lets him shine the most. Keep in mind, of course, his skills are both Hunter. They are both crit required, and so you're going to need a square slot if you're going to want to build him up. Crit rate attack, crit rate attack, crit damage are 2 very good methods you can go. You can put in a survivability gem if you'd like. I would probably go defense over HP just because his defense is a little bit closer to the low side than his HP is. So he can use a little bit more investment there than he would need in HP. But like final build, I'd definitely go crit rate, attack on a ruin set with like getting your defenses from trinkets, you know. But that is of course down the road. Next, let's move on to water. And you shouldn't be too far down. Yep, here we are. So here's the variant. I like the variant more just because I like that blue more than I like the teal. Is this teal or is it turquoise for the hair? I think it's teal. I don't know. It's a bit greenish. I like the blue a lot more. Looking at the stats, he has a tank. His HP is okay, nothing crazy. His attack is actually a lot higher. Well, not a lot higher, but it is higher than we see with most tanks. And his defense is a little bit lower than we see with most tanks. It's alright. It just means he's not going to be super tanky on that first turn, but his skills kind of remedy that a little bit. Because on his 3-star, as you see, we have Fearless Taunt. It is 80% one turn, but that 50% damage reduction does really help with his defense stat being a little bit lower. I don't know the skillbook values for it. I couldn't find it on the Reddit or the MSL Wiki, which is seriously, like, really outdated. And I just didn't have a Water Leo to get the book values for, so I'm pretty sure it goes up to 100% though for his Fearless Taunt. I don't think it goes up to 2 turns. I could be remembering that wrong though. Then on 5-star we have Stun, 60% 1 turn, and I believe that goes up to 80% with books. And yeah, so overall his skills are pretty good. Where you'd want to use him, PvP. PvP is really the only place that he can be decent, especially on PvP defense. He does really well there. Of course, the meta is super heavy with water defense teams because Fire Draka is still a thing, and Leo does very well in that position. Just being able to spread that taunt, being able to survive long thanks to his decent HP, and of course the damage reduction from Fearless Taunt, and then also being annoying with his stun as well on AoE. So there's all of that. How I'd build him, you can go multiple ways. So first you can go HP defense, then you can go HP defense, and of course last you can try like a bruiser build, like HP attack defense, just to see how well that would do, because he does have a decent attack stat, so you're gonna see. So if you put an attack gem, he'll do decent damage. He won't be doing anything crazy. Keep that in mind, he won't be doing anything crazy. And of course, building him that way would take away from his bulk. But it is something interesting that might be effective and can catch people off guard. Just seeing that Leo do a little bit extra damage than he normally would. So yeah, there's all of that. Best would probably be HP defense though. But yeah, let's move on to wood. Okay, and here we are, and here's the variant. I like them both. I think I'm gonna go with the regular just because it does have a bit more color to it, with its hair being like actually green, whereas like with the variant, like, what did I say? The variant was green. The regular is green. The variant, it's kind of like monochromatic, sort of, because like they're all shades of orange and yellowish, you know, with hints of green in the armor, but like not much. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the regular. Stat wise, it is a defender, good defense, good HP, and actually a pretty good attack stat as well. So nothing bad there with its stats. Good overall. Looking at its skills. On 3-star, we have defense down 60% 2 turns. Skillbooks make it 70% and give a 20% damage boost. Then on 5-star, we have attack down 60% 2 turns. Skillbooks make it 80% and give a 10% damage boost. So, being a double debuffer, it shines very well in Titans. I have seen people use it in PvP on defense. It can work there, but personally, I do not think it is very effective, just because having that defense down on its single target can make your defense seem a little bit inconsistent, because for those that don't know, when there's a defense down on a single mon, your whole defense team will target that mon because of the AI being like that, being weird like that. So that can definitely cost you some matches. Can definitely cost you some matches there. But it is an option. Just because it is a Woodmon with some decent stats. Well, not decent, good stats. But again, it shines in Titans. How I would build it, HP, HP defense, HP defense, defense either can work. HP, HP defense would of course be more survivable, but it would be harder to heal. But either way, you can go either or and be good. I do have a Wood Leo build, and he is on HP defense, defense, and he did very well. I don't use him anymore, but we'll get more into that when I near towards the end of the video when I can show off his gems and whatnot. But yeah, does really well for your Titan teams. He will fall off as you get Courageous Strike and Unflinching Strike mons that also, and healers that have debuffs with them. So like Wood Canna is a very good mon that has the attack down. Wood Hannah as well. Both have that attack down on their 3 stars, which get similar rates as Wood Leo. Wood Hannah goes up to 70% 2 turns, and Canna goes up to 70% 2 turns, fully booked. So, and then they of course have a heal or Courageous Strike that are both really effective in Titans. Also, another thing to keep in mind with defense down, since there isn't really any Courageous Strike mons of the Wood element that also have defense down, you won't find anybody like that to replace Wood Leo with. But Wood Fibian is a very good defense down mon for the Wood Titan. I've spoken with people in the comment section of my last video about it, and they've really helped change my mind about it. It's a lot better tier than I thought it was. So Wood Fibian, a lot easier to farm, and a much more reliable defense down mon than Wood Leo. So there's that to keep in mind. But yeah, there's that, and we'll move on to light. Oh, something else I should point out. Wood Fibian, while it does have more consistent defense down than Wood Leo, it does have worse stats. So that's just something, keep that in the back of your mind. But anyway, on to light. Here we are. I do not have a light Leo, sadly. I really want one, but someday I will get it. Here's the regular and the variant. So the variant is super cool because it's like, if you've seen Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, it's like Nega Scott. So this is like Nega Leo. Very cool, very cool. Just being that like reverse. I don't know, but it looks very cool. But I kind of like this one more just because it does embody like the light element more, whereas this, it's kind of like undead, you know, doesn't really show off the light element. So I'm gonna stick with the regular form. If that other one was a different element, maybe if we had like a 6th element, like I know people were saying, oh, introduce the 6th element and make it like the null element, make it the void element, something like. I think that'd be stupid, but that would be a perfect color scheme for Leo if that was ever a thing. Whereas the regular is a very good color scheme for light. Looking at the stats though, he is an attacker, good attack sec, good HP, good defense. Pretty similar stats overall to Fire Leo, except his attack is actually a bit lower. The defense and HP are both about the same, but he loses like 300 points of attack, so that's interesting. But it's fine because Light Leo doesn't particularly need a crazy high attack stat, because when we look at it specializes in other things than just doing damage, which we'll explain as we go through the stats. So first off, on 3-star we have morale boost 50% for itself. Skill books make it 60%, give it 10% damage boost, and then on 5-star we have stun, 50% 2 turns, skill books make it 60% and give a 15% damage boost there. Something I want to point out, the extra 10% to its morale boost with skill books, pretty unnecessary, because in 2 turns anyway, it'll get its bar full. Potentially in 1 turn, if it gets good orb generation. But that's besides the point. Where this thing shines though, many places. Well, a couple places. So first off, it does very well in PvP, offense and defense, and we'll speak more on PvP in a moment. I just want to go through the other things very quickly because there's a lot less to talk about with them. So 1, farming does very well, being a light attacker with a strong morale boost. especially if you can get it on Siphon Set. It'll get its bar full in pretty much a single turn, and then it'll just be hitting pretty hard with its 5-star. It doesn't have a damage boosting 5-star. The stun isn't very helpful for farming, or it's not very necessary for farming, I should say. But you'd really just be using it for its damage. Then you can use it for GB10 for the same reason, and DB7 and DB10. You can probably use it against Dark Colossus and the Dark Titan just as a light attacker, but it'll definitely fall off very quickly in both those places just because it doesn't have damage boosting skills. But you can try it out. But back to PvP. PvP is where it really shines. So first off, on offense, you can use it there as well. Well, for the first, we'll start off with offense. So on offense, you can use it during special season. It does have a viable leader skill, so you can use it there for that, and then just spam that 2-turn stun right away. Or during the regular league, you'll have your bar full in at least 2 turns. So on the 3rd turn, you'll be able to hit your active off. The main draw to Light Leo is that 2-turn stun and being able to fill its bar quickly to use that 2-turn stun. That's what makes it so annoying to face in PvP. And it also has decent defensive stats for an attacker. So if you're to use it, you can build it multitude of ways. So first off, you can build it more defensive, so HP defense or HP defense. Between those two, I would probably go HP defense just because its defense is a little bit lower. Does require more investment, and then of course if you have it with a passive healer or something, it'll be easier to heal if its HP was a bit lower and its defense was a bit higher. Well, its defense stat doesn't matter, but anyway. Then you can also build it bruiser build as well as another thing you can go with. It won't be as tanky, but being an attacker has good attack stat. Just putting a little bit of investment in there, it'll be doing some decent damage. Then you can also build it completely offensively and use it solely for your attack team, just being able to spam its active over and over again, doing a lot of damage. But it does shine the most on defense teams, building it super tanky and just letting it sit there, get its bar full, and annoy the opponent over and over again with that 2-turn stun. 60% is very low, well, is seemingly pretty low, but it is still very good, just because it is 2 turns. So yeah. Definitely an amazing mon. If you do get it, I do recommend building it. It doesn't need a square slot or anything, so whatever your gem shapes you get, you can build it perfectly fine. So there's all of that. Now, last on to Dark Leo, which I did just get recently from a highlight dark egg, so hype, But anyway, here's the regular and the variant, and not much changes. It gets a bit more purple to it with the variant. Like its hair goes from like a gray color to like a very darkish purple. And then its wristbands, I think, changed color a bit. Well, the rest of the purple that's on the regular gets a bit darker, it seems. I like the variant more just because the regular is kind of bland, whereas the variant does have more color to it, so it looks a bit nicer. Looking at the stats, it is an attacker. Has a really good attack stat for a Nat 4. We don't see much Nat 4s that get into this level of attack stats. This is typically middle-of-the-road Nat 5 attack stats, so very nice there. Then its HP is actually really good as well, and its defense is on the meh side of Nat 4s. Nat 4 attackers, that is. As you can see from Light and Fire, who had 200 points more defense than it. So now looking at the skills, so on 3-star we have attack down 100% 2 turns, skill books make it 3 turns, give it 15% damage boost. And then on 5-star we have silence, 60% 2 turns, and skill books make it 70% and give it 20% damage boost. So there are 2 places that you can use it. So first off, PvP, second, Titans. But the thing that really does hold Light Leo back is that its skills don't really go together. Attack down is a very good skill on its own, especially with the rates that Dark Leo has at 100% 2 to 3 turns with books. That's an amazing attack down for Titans. Amazing. And you'd be able to use it against any of the elements of the Titans. But silence is useless against in Titans, so its 5-star will really only be there for damage, which it is a dark attacker, so it'll be doing decent damage, but nothing compared to Courageous Strike and Unflinching Strike mons, or any mons with damage boosting skills like Hunter or Predator. Then in PvP, The silence is good on AoE, but its rates are a little low. And then also, a single target attack down isn't that great either. Because with Dark Leo being an attacker and having a low defense stat, you're not going to really want to put it on your defense team. You're going to want to put it on your offense team. And most defense teams don't have high damage output. So the attack down isn't very helpful because they won't be doing much damage anyway. They'll just be like slowly whittling you down. It'll slow it down a little, but not a crazy amount to be super helpful. You can also use him, I guess, against DB10 and against the Light Colossus, but for both those places you would just be using him as a dark attacker. The attack down might help a little bit against the Light Persephone for DB10 and against the dragon, of course, but again, silence would be useless there, and you'd rather have something that has a damage boosting skill. Same against the Light Colossus. The attack down would be okay, I guess, against the Light Colossus, but the silence, again, useless, and then you'd rather have damage boosting skills. But anyway, that is it for Dark. Let's look at the Super Evolutions just so we can get their stats going, or take a look at their stats. So first, of course, we will start off with Fire. Here we are. So here's the small Leo, which, interestingly, Leo is, I think, the only Mon with a Super Evolution that has the... Oh, no, Leo and Miho as well are the ones that have their small forms for their Super Evolutions based on their Evo 2 rather than their Evo 1. And then here's the big form, which is very reminiscent of Escanor, Big Daddy Sunshine. Shoutouts to him. So here we are to see the stats. HP gets really good, actually, for a Nat 4, which Super Evolution is pretty much Nat 5 by that point. And then attack stat really high as well, pretty close to being like 4K, which is very nice. We don't see much attackers with close to 4K. And then its defense is actually really good as well. Here is Water. Here's the small form for you guys. HP gets to 40k, very nice. Attack is really high now, and its defense still doesn't even break 2k. So, honestly, I think HP defense might actually be better for it overall, in terms of being bulky, just because its defense stat is pretty damn low. Then here we have Wood. Here's the big form. Its defense gets really high, so does its HP, and its attack as well. Overall, it has a really good stats. Here we have Light. Small form. Overall, very good stats. Again, though, just to compare, we see Fire, who has much more attack and has more, a bit more defense as well, and HP. So Fire stats are overall higher, but Light is still amazing. Then we have Dark. Big form, small form, and its attack is just 3 points shy of 4k. So overall, its damage, even without damage boosting skills, it is still going to do a lot, just because it is a Dark Mon and it has nearly 4k attack. So don't sleep on its damage potential. Just know that, of course, there are Mons that will do more damage than it. And then its defense and HP are pretty good now as well. So, before we end it off, I do have a couple to showcase. I forgot I actually had a fully built Fire Leo. So here we are with him. Here we go. Attack, HP, crit rate. There. Ideally, I would change this HP gem to an attack gem that had decent crit rate. And I think... Oh no, that gem has okay crit rate as well. But I would replace this with something with... Or would I replace this? I don't know. It has some decent crit damage. A little bit of resist, a little bit of defense. But that 20 recovery makes me so sad. But yeah, overall, decent gems there. In case you want to see his stats after all of that, there you are. But again, I would definitely change him to crit rate, attack, and get the HP and defense from trinkets. Then I do have a Wood Leo here, which, as I stated earlier, I don't use him anymore. I used to use him in my Titan teams for his defense down and attack down, but I have replaced him since I have other mons that fulfill that purpose and have something else like a heal or courageous strike. and he is built on HP, defense, and here's his overall stats, which really high defense. Now, I do have a dark one, which I am working on evolving, but he's only Evo 2. Where is he? There he is. So, he's still a work in progress. I was unlucky, didn't get a square slot with him. Perhaps if I get a change token thingy, I will be using it to get a square slot on him, maybe. It's not necessary because he's not crit required, but being a dark attacker, you want that crit rate. And lastly, before we end this off, oops, wrong button, to prioritize the Leos. So, number 1, hands down, is light if you can get it. But of course, light being very hard to obtain unless you buy them from the packages. It's not realistic, so next I'd go to wood. Wood is very, very good for Titans, and decent on defense just because it has overall good stats, but really shines in Titans and can help you get your Titan teams to be doing more damage consistently. Then fire would be next for me, just being a very strong fire attacker. I don't use mine so much anymore, or I never really use mine so much just because I prefer Fire Succubus as my fire attacker, but that's just personal preference. Leo is definitely capable of more damage, but not as survivable because of that. But Fire Succubus has a utility that I love with HP Siphon and defense down, so, and she's waifu. Anyway, next is water. Water is a very good defense mon for PvP. Being able to live long and annoy people with his taunt and his stun, very good. And then last I would put dark, just because his skills don't go together. If his 5-star was pretty much anything else, maybe, I don't know. Like if it was a damage boosting skill, or if it was another debuff, like defense down or attack down. Like if he was double attack down, he'd be amazing for Titans. Even if it was blind. If it was blind, it'd be amazing for Titans as well. Or weaken, amazing. But attack down and silence don't go well together. So, really holds him back. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Hit the bell if you want to stay updated for the next video. Have yourselves a good day, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.